some technical difficulties there, but what I was saying is that you need to maintain that positive mindset. That you have to believe that whatever goals you set are can be accomplished. That you can control the thoughts in your head, and that allows you to behave and act in certain situations so that you can deal with them in a more productive manner. You can't believe that things are not in your control. So why am I talking about these? Because these negative thought patterns, they affect your mental health. And again, if your mental health is affected, your physical health is affected. Right? Your mind leads to how your body reacts. So I wanted to talk about this because recently I dealt with someone that was very stubborn in their ways. So I was working with a team to brainstorm potential solutions to a problem. But this person was very challenging. They had a very rigid way of thinking that prevented them from seeing things from other perspectives, or even to be able to listen or to accept new ideas or be open to new ideas. In their opinion, there was only one perfect solution to resolve the problem, and there was no other way. And they didn't believe that there was any other way. Regardless of what other people did or said or justified their ideas or their solutions to the problem, they just wouldn't believe it. They had these blinders on and they could only see in one direction. They couldn't believe that their idea wasn't right. Right? It took a long time and it took a lot of energy. But after a bit of debate and discussion, we were finally able to convince this person to go along with what the team had decided as a solution. So this is what I really wanted to talk about, this rigid way of thinking. That it's this rigid thinking is the unwillingness to change or inability to change the way a person thinks. They only see things one way, and nothing else is relevant to them. Again, not open to other people's ideas or opinions, only restricting themselves to what they believe, what they think is right. In some instances, it is, I say, acceptable to be stubborn and stand your ground. For example, maybe someone is acting immorally, unethically, or illegally. And here, sure, I believe that you should stand your ground and challenge them to do the right thing. So, yeah, again, there's no black or white answers, and that it's not one or zero, true or false, that there are gray areas. But when I talk about rigid thinking, I'm just doing it from a very broad or high level perspective. That there are those people who are just unwilling or unable to change the way they see things or the way they think. So rigid thinking is basically having a closed mind, right? Regardless of whether there's better ideas or better solutions, rigid thinker will always believe what they say and what they do is always right. And if you are not on board with what they think or what they do, you are wrong. They say that you are either with them or they're against them. They just have a hard time thinking in any other way. And when this you or anybody else maintains a rigid way of thinking, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because we all know that there's no such thing as a person always being right. So there will be instances where a rigid thinker, they will be wrong, or their ideas are not perfect, or they might not come up with the right solution. So when there's irrefutable proof that their idea is wrong, they're going to punish themselves because they feel they failed somehow and that their belief system has let them down. And then you'll start seeing these things creeping up, like self-doubt, and start overthinking things. They feel like they failed in some way, and and they end up being like stressed and anxious and confused because their views, their perspectives, the way they see the world has been shattered. It's been broken or flipped upside down. And this could lead to not just these negative thoughts and emotions creeping in. There's other things as well. For example, a rigid thinker, if they've been challenged and they've been proven wrong, they might end up, having an angry outburst. They become more common qualities of rigid thinkers that they're resistant to any form of change because they believe that their way is the only way, that they always want to be in a position of control, and that if someone else is in charge, they're going to challenge their authority or not follow their lead. They want people to do it their way or it's the highway, right? If they don't follow their rules or their expectations, and they will never ever let go of their negative feelings, right? Again, they're just stuck in one way of thinking and seeing things, and no one else is going to be able to redirect how they see things, right? They're not going to be open to new ideas. These rigid thinkers, they end up being controlling and inflexible because they want the world, they want the people, they want the situation, they want the environment to conform to what they believe in. Again, because they believe that whatever they think, whatever they do is the right thing to do, and they're not open to new ideas or other perspectives, right? And I'm sure you've dealt with someone like that, probably yourself, and I know for myself, we've all been very stubborn in terms of holding to our beliefs. But again, there's a time and place for it, and you need to be aware of when that is. Okay. Again, rigid thinkers are just not open to new ideas, and they're setting themselves up for failure. So what can you do to change a rigid way of thinking? Okay, several things I would recommend. Number one, again, is awareness, and recognize that you are a rigid thinker, right? First step is being aware. So when you feel that you're in a situation that you're demonstrating rigid thinking, acknowledge it and just relax, right? Just acknowledge it. So, for example, if you're with a group of people and you feel that their ideas are challenging yours, just relax and just listen intently to what they have to say. You don't have to agree, but at least demonstrate the patience and willingness to listen to other people's ideas. Over time, learn to compromise instead of adhering to the belief that either you're right or wrong or a zero-sum game, right? Learn to go with the flow and let the situation unfold, and don't let yourself feel angry and or that the world is out to get you. Okay, another way to help resolve your rigid way of thinking is to do a self-assessment. Rethink your beliefs, and you need to commit to changing them. Right? You need to do some self-reflection, and think of why do you always think this way? Why are you a rigid thinker? Right? So you need to do some insightful thinking on your own, or if necessary, you may even need to seek help or speak with a friend, a colleague, or even a professional. Right? So it's what works best for you or for anyone who's a rigid thinker is, again, acknowledge that and be aware that you are feeling this way. Relax and try to be more easygoing, be more open-minded. Right? And how do you go about changing this belief system? Again, it's baby steps. Like set small incremental goals. Right? So again, for example, if you get triggered and you think rigidly in a specific situation, again, just stop. Give yourself a timeout. Or maybe say some sort of mantra or phrase that's going to relax you whenever you're in this scenario or this predicament. Okay, what else? What else can you do to change a rigid way of thinking? Let's say make an effort to try new things. right? You got to put yourself outside your comfort zone and get used to the idea that, you know, that there are other things out there in the world that may challenge the way you think and the way you act. Right? So again, try to make an effort to try new things. For example, if there's a certain type of food you haven't tried or a restaurant you've never been to, go try it. Right? Just make an effort to go try something new. Right? Is there a particular sport or hobby you haven't been wanting to do, or just have not wanted to do? Try it. It could be even just saying something as simple as saying hello to the barista where you get your coffee every morning, right? Yeah, try and make an effort to do different things, to do new things, things you would normally have not done before. And then my last recommendation is say yes to opportunities. If you're presented with an opportunity, unless it's uh, totally out of the realm of safety and legalities and stuff, just say yes to it, right? And you never know what might happen. An opportunity can always grow into something that will benefit you in the long term. So for myself, there's a year where I chose to say yes to every invitation and every opportunity that came my way. So it took me out of my comfort zone, but I learned a lot and it built up my confidence to be able to handle new and unexpected situations and scenarios more easily. Again, you're building these habits of being open to new ideas, to new things, to new people, right? You want to get away from that rigid way of thinking where there's only one way to do things, one way to think about things, right? And again, change doesn't happen overnight. Um, if you want to stop being a rigid thinker or just correct any negative beliefs or habits in general, you need to make a commitment to do so and be patient. So you really need to stick to it. Just to recap, right? Why am I talking about rigid thinkers? Again, I'm a big believer in health, and health is the foundation of anything you do. And in this case, with your mental health, being a rigid thinker impacts your mental health. Rigid thinking is seeing things one way and believing that there's no other way other than what you believe in. You're not open to new ideas or new ways of thinking or what other people have to say. And we all know that we all make mistakes, that no one is ever 100% right. So when there comes a time that a rigid thinker's ideas are challenged and they're proven wrong, their world gets flipped upside down, and this is where that mental health gets impacted. That they become stressed, they become anxious, possibly depressed, they can get angry, right? And they can end up acting out, right? That could not only hurt themselves but hurt other people as well, right? Rigid thinkers, because they think that there's only one way to do things or there's only one set of beliefs, that they resistant to any form of change, that they always want to be in control, and they may not listen to others or maybe even challenge those people in charge, right? Why should I listen to you? Because what I think is right. Right? So this is very non-productive when someone interacts with other people that way, right? Again, it's either a rigid thinker, it's their way or the highway, right? If you don't believe what I believe, you don't follow my rules or my expectations, you are wrong and I am always right. And they'll never let go of their negative feelings, right? And this is where it can really impact a person's mental health to be this rigid way of thinking, and it restricts the opportunities and the ability for you to grow, right? If you're not open to new ideas or to meeting new people or new concepts or to learning, you're really confining yourself to what you can do in the long term, right? Just came to my mind. We There's always talk about growth mindset and fixed mindset. Yeah, so rigid thinkers is related to having a fixed mindset, right? Fixed mindset is where there's a belief that your talent or skill is limited, right? Either you're born with it or you're not. Whereas an open thinker believes in would probably be more associated with a growth mindset, where they believe that their skills, their abilities are not You're not born with it, that you can grow and learn given the right amount of time. Whereas a rigid thinker, they're going to believe one thing and one thing only, right? Either you can do it or you can't, right? So it's related in that way to a growth and fixed mindset, right? So I gave 4 pieces of advice as to how you can start changing and moving away from being a rigid thinker. So number one was being aware that you do act this way. Whenever you catch yourself in this line of thinking, just relax, acknowledge that you're doing it, and just go with the flow. Just let the situation unfold, and don't let those negative feelings cloud your judgment, cloud the way you think. Just listen intently, and go with the flow. So number two, um, rethink your beliefs, and if you want to change, commit to changing it. There's a reason why that you are a rigid thinker. It could be some past experience or something you heard maybe when you were younger, or just something that is making you think this way. And you really need to do some self reflection and self insights to think about why you need to do this. And if necessary, ask a friend for help, right? A colleague, or even a professional. Right? What triggered you to be a rigid thinker? You need to find the root cause and figure it out. Fix that root cause or adjust that root cause, right? Just like any problem, you need to find the root cause. Don't just fix the surface level symptoms, right? Fix the root. Okay, number three, make an effort to try new things. Right, rigid thinkers, again, they have the blinders on. They only see things one way and want to experience things one way, right? By making an effort to try new things, you're still building your your muscles, right, to be able to tackle new things. That you're gonna get yourself used to feeling out of place, taking yourself out of your comfort zone by trying new things. This could be, trying a new restaurant, or foods that you don't normally eat, or maybe saying hello to a stranger on the street. Try new things. And lastly, say yes to opportunities. Again, taking yourself out of the comfort zone. By saying yes to opportunities, you're exposing yourself with the chance of having something even better happen to you, right? If you say yes instead of no, right? Again, within reason, right? And change doesn't happen overnight. Rigid thinking is going to damage you, your mental health, and it could hurt those around you. So my recommendation is take a look into it, why you act this way, right? And if you commit to it, you need to be patient. You need to be patient that, change doesn't happen overnight. I always say miracles don't happen overnight. So you need to understand that you need to take baby steps. If you take the recommendations that I just gave to you about how to change yourself from not being a rigid thinker, right? That it takes time. It's one step at a time. Okay. So that's it for me. Hopefully this video or Facebook Live brought you some value. If you have any questions, feedback, or opinions, hey, please reach out to me. I value what you have to say. All right, so thank you. Have a good Sunday and take care.